students always ask this question: how do I expand the scope of my discussion? The key is in the brainstorming stage. Check out our videos on brainstorming that we've uploaded previously. So how do we do that? The first way is to brainstorm using categories. Right? The simple categories that we often tell students to use are politics, economic, social, and something else. Now this something else, the X that we are talking about here, really depends on the kind of question you're trying to attempt. So some questions may lend you to be talking about an issue related to science and technology, or it could be also an issue related to ethics and religion, or it could be an issue related to environment and other things, sports, media, right? So this last category is really dependent on the kind of question that you're asking. Alright, the second way to brainstorm is to use perspectives. You can start off by brainstorming the issue according to the individual, the issue affecting families, issue affecting society, and you can go on to the nation. What does the government do about these issues? Now in some questions, depending on the question again, you may even go on to look at the perspective from the region, the regional perspective. Or you can go all the way out to looking at global perspective. So this is the second way of brainstorming. Now the third way that you can brainstorm is by looking at age groups. So you may want to look at the issue through the eyes of children, or the eyes of young people, youths, or maybe adults, right? So we're talking about maybe working adults, right? And finally, of course, you can look at the issues from the perspective of the elderly people, right? And of course, we don't have this particular word. This particular word does not exist. So please avoid using elderlies. Now the fourth way of brainstorming is to look at gender. Many people look at the issue from the perspective of men. Perhaps because men view the problem in a different way as compared to women. So that's the fourth way. And the fifth way is to brainstorm looking at the issue through the developed country's perspective or the developing country's perspective. Because these two different kinds of countries have different problems and they have different priorities. So this is another way in which you can help brainstorm a wider scope. So when you're brainstorming to expand the scope of the discussion, remember these 3 pointers. Just now I gave you 5 different ways of brainstorming, right? Remember that you can superimpose the structures on each other. That means you can talk about women's issues in the developing world. So you're using gender and developing world, right? So mix and match wisely. Right? And finally, do not use all structures at the same time. Right? You'll end up writing a novel that you will never finish. And you have an hour and a half.